Mr. Carl Lumley, it was such a pleasure to speak to you again, many years after our first conversation, but I have so much to talk to you about. I wanted to talk about Isaiah because last time we spoke, you had just accepted the role for Falcon and Winter Soldier and couldn't say anything about it. And the only thing you were able to say was that it is poignant or topical to the point of prescience, which I loved. There's a beautiful humanity to Isaiah. And I think it's a testament to you as an actor as well that you can bring that sensitivity and caliber to this character. But I wanted to talk about the joy first. And I think one of my favorite moments of the film is when you're getting arrested and you're concerned about your suit. And there was a sense of self that is so important to this character. So I'm really curious because Marvel has to have a very tight script department. How much of this came up kind of organically? How much of it was already included in the script?
Um, I would say that the seeds were in the script, and what Julius and I came up with became the fruit.
And how much did you let the fruit blossom? Let's put it that way, because he seems so real. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's based off of your experiences as well. But how much did you allow kind of your experiences that we've talked about before in our previous interview to kind of inform this is who this man is, the man versus the superhero or the man versus the weapon in a sense?
Well, I think I'll just speak specifically to the suit. My father didn't wear a suit to work every day, but on Sundays or special occasions, there were a few suits in his closet. So Isaiah got married in that suit to a young woman who would bear him a daughter. So what that suit represented was a step forward into tomorrow. And the fact that that suit still existed, even though the loved ones that he cherished so much weren't there, they were in that suit. And the 300 plus Black soldiers at the camp who were exterminated, who were massacred, they were in that suit. And the dead white super soldiers in Germany who were killed in that death camp, they were in that suit. And the women who were gassed, they were in that suit. His people are all the people. We, the people. It's in our founding documents. We, the people. And yes, Black people have had to take care of one another very often because there has been a resistance to including us.
Well, you know what? That's a great quote. I'm going to throw another one at you because that was a perfect segue. One of your favorite writers, James Baldwin, had said that hatred, which could destroy so much, never failed to destroy the man who hated. Yeah,
yes.
Brilliant line.
Yes.
Here we are. The subtext of the film is, you know, Sam is not really being accepted as Captain America. And in real life, we have these people who, you know, can't get over a fictional character having a mantle that is important to, as you said, all people. What would you say, embracing Mr. Baldwin's teachings, what would you just say to those who perhaps can't get past Sam being Captain America?
It's an excellent question, and I don't know what I would say. I guess I would speak to my experience of living in this country as a person with skin like Sam, as an individual who, like Isaiah, wants to be and believes he is part of we the people, and that these ideals, which drew my parents from a small island to come to this country at a time when those principles were under challenge, they came and they made a difference, because not only because of who they were and what they did, but what they encouraged people all around them to do, including those who were more melanin challenged. It's I would say it runs the continuum from madness to silliness to be as obsessed as this republic continues to be about denying a truth that makes us all brothers and sisters. And I don't have any interest in delusion, nor do many, many Black people who live a certain kind of reality. Perhaps those individuals who feel such fear are worried about their safety. But the fact that other people are not safe does not make you more safe. Unfortunate if you can't embrace it, but it's reality. That's why you look both ways before you cross a busy freeway, because you may feel you're invincible, but there's a reality that if a vehicle moving at 65 miles an hour, if it strikes you and you're going to resist, you will be gone.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I don't want to see anyone hurt, but I am definitely tired of the kind of hurt that the dispossessed and the poor and the marginalized communities in this republic go through, because it reduces the great potential that exists within our body politic, within our society. So I would say to them, be where you are. I'm not going to, I don't believe you can be forced into a different position, but you're not seeing reality as I know it. And sorry for you. Perhaps you should go talk to someone. Or what's that wonderful phrase? Speak amongst yourselves. Because I think those individuals share something in common with the other individuals who can't accept it, and I think it's fear.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Well, that was very much a CARL LUMBLY trademark response, where you say you don't know what to say and then put it perfectly. A little bit of a lighter note. I couldn't help but draw a comparison between Isaiah's obviously tragic past and your also kind of heroic past, because we talked about MANTIS last time you and I spoke. And I will praise that show. It was actually the TV movie for me before the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. And just to remind the audience, first Black superhero on network television. Was there any kind of connection that you felt, in a sense, and I say this lightly because I will remind everybody of this beautiful project, as a forgotten Black superhero?
Yes, there was, man, there are resonances and comparisons that I can make between Miles Hawkins and Isaiah Bradley, up and down the board. And because they live inside me, I'm able to reference them quickly for the work that I had to do. Mantis, to me, that character, Miles Hawkins, was super heroic, not as much because of what he did, although it was amazing, but because of what he wanted to do. He was an individual who had the wherewithal. He could have walked away, done another thing, increased his vinyl collection, gone on safari. But he chose to try and address something that he felt was his business, which is to make the country a safer place at that point. And so crime was the issue. And he wanted to stop crime without having to take the criminals off the planet. He did not believe in killing. And so he, zapped people and stopped them cold so that they could be apprehended. Isaiah comes from the same place. He wants to do what he can to help. But unlike Miles Hawkins, Isaiah has no point of establishment. He doesn't have wherewithal. All he has is his agency, and he uses that to do what he thinks will help because he believes in what he's been told. And when he is betrayed by what he has been told, when he is punished for living up to the ideals that he felt existed in that uniform is crushing. And Wyatt doesn't turn him with all of that power coursing through his blood. He could have wreaked havoc. He could have engineered an escape. He could have gone on a rampage. Why he doesn't do that is because within him, the one thing that was unassailable, the thing that no matter what took place, it couldn't touch that love he had for his wife, Faith. And I think they named her aptly, and I don't think it was an accident, because he has love and faith in his heart. And that requires him to be better than he might otherwise be. That love and faith, those are the voices of the better angels. And if you open yourself to them, no matter what path you've started down, I believe it can turn you around. So maybe that's what I would say to those people who are so afraid of this idea of a perfect Black man playing a perfect Captain America for this perfect time in our nation's history. Listen to your better angels if you have love for anyone.
Like I had said, it had been 30 years since you donned the exoskeleton of Mantis, 30 plus. Did you get to enjoy playing a superhero again? Were you involved in any of the action or any of the stunts? And if so, how much?
I definitely enjoyed playing a superhero again. And I would say, and I'm not being facetious, it was wonderful playing him without spandex. It was a tough go, and I think my bravery playing Mantis under those conditions has never really been fully addressed. I just wanted to say that.
If I can interrupt, I will also say that it's hilarious that they went from the TV movie where you had a trench coat, you had a little bit of coverage, and in the show it was all Lumley. So yeah. that was a big jump. Yeah. Well, credit well deserved, my friend. But anyway, sorry.
But Isaiah doesn't have that. And like Sam Wilson, even though Isaiah has serum, that's not what is the most heroic. That's just the mechanism by which he can be really strong. But it's how he used his intelligence and what his heart made him do. He went on a suicide mission. He was ready to sacrifice, to make the ultimate sacrifice. And the fact that he was repaid in the way he was, would be very, very difficult to accept. So Sam Wilson, as Falcon, brought Isaiah back into the world in a real way, allowed him to be recognized for his contributions. And Isaiah, at that point, is in a bit of a prison. He's been released from the actual prison, but he lives in prison inside himself. And Sam helps free him from that. Tentative steps. He's still being cautious about this brave new world, but he's in it. And what takes place shakes him to his core. But he has two things. He has that love in his heart for himself, for Faith, and for Sam Wilson, for Captain America, someone who he cautioned against taking the mantle, who in fact he derided. Why would you do that? But, I think being exemplary isn't talking about what you do. Being exemplary is doing what you do and having people look at it and say, well, there's an example of a possibility. That's how I think Anthony Mackie's Captain America is a perfect Captain America for this time.
If I can change gears, we'll get away from this superhero stuff because there's so much I want to talk to you about, considering you've now become, I think, an integral member of the Flan clan, as I call them, working with Mike Flanagan time and time again. Because last we spoke, I had praised Dr. Sleep, still probably my favorite movie of 2019. Absolutely fantastic. Flanagan recently went online, I think it was his Twitter account, and revealed that we were very close to there being a Dick Halloran prequel. Do you remember anything about that being planned or how close you got to that?
Well, Michael, I'm I don't know what I know until I know it, and and so until I know it, I really don't say it. Here's what I will say: playing Dick Halloran is the only thing that could have gotten me to, albeit reluctantly, but ultimately happily, shave my head. I am not. I've been told by several people it's not my best look, but it was worth it because I loved the character. Now, Mike Flanagan is he's my heart. He's, there are lots of people who have pieces of it. He is one of them. He's got a big chunk. I think he's brilliant. I love the way he approaches the people, the individuals in the work he does. I think he is brilliant, and any opportunity, from bowling to shooting hoop to being in a project that he has written or that he has written and directed or that he has written and directed and is cheerleading for, because he does all of that while you're working. I would be honored, privileged, proud, and pleased.
Speaking of being honored, I when I watch something like The Fall of the House of Usher, again, I'm going to keep praising the projects you've done, Carl. So I hope you don't mind. Perfect television for me. Brilliant television, right? Mm-hmm. And the scenes between you and Bruce, especially, just two very established actors, just barely even moving, sitting in a room, and it's captivating. And I had thought about, I know that Carl is now definitely part of this family because Flanagan trusted you to be a part of what is one of his kind of calling cards, which is those great 2 to 3 page diatribes that he gives. And it's not even just about the actor he gives it to say, but the actor who is in the room listening to it. So, when you have that kind of script, or when you have Bruce right across the room from you, does that just make your job infinitely easier? Like, how do you not, in a sense, kind of revel in the joy of the moment, right? How do you kind of stay grounded and be the great listener that I think you are on screen?
Oh, thank you so much. The joy of the moment is in the work, and the more work, the more joy. Bruce was transcendent for me. And I will say it's hard for me to think of another scene with another actor that I was just enthralled with what he was doing. So listening becomes easy under those conditions. And then I felt responsibility. Bruce, and I won't go into great depth, but Bruce did something that only those of us who were on the scene can fully appreciate. He came into a situation, he landed running, and he immediately took flight. And I feel he took us all under his wing and lifted us and lifted that project. Those scenes in that place, listening and speaking, that's the joy of acting to me. And I do believe that, well, just for my purposes, I was told, taught, encouraged that the mark of the work is in listening, in receiving. And so I got a lot.
Well, I do also want to talk about The Life of Chuck, because I was fortunate enough to see it at TIFF in September.
Okay.
And Carl, once again, let me tell you, completely unexpected. And I think this is also another thing I appreciate about Mike's work, is that I think Dr. Sleep was a film I didn't expect. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. A lot of things could have gone wrong with that film, and they went brilliantly. So he's full of surprises. I'm really curious that possibly what you got out of that film as well. Especially, I remember Tom Hiddleston, speaking to the audience and saying it was a production of absolute pure joy. It is somewhat of a melancholy film, but the production itself was pure joy. So again, just tell me about the experience you had on that film, if you could, please.
Life is about the joy that comes through, among other things, suffering. That, sometimes you suffer this uncomfortable jacket, even though it's much hotter than this jacket is comfortable for, because it's worth it, because there's a way in which you need to present. And if you're a little bit itchy, or if you're a lot hot, or if there's a rash developing on your neck, you take that because it's worth it. And I think that kind of joy, the kind of joy that comes from triumph, the kind of joy that comes from looking back at something you did or something someone else did that you love and being proud of it, the kind of joy that comes from the unexpected. I think that's the kind of joy that is woven into life. And I believe Mike has a vision, and Mike has magic fingers and a lot of threads. And he is, in my view, he's just a weaver without peer.
Carl, once again, absolutely, I can't thank you enough for this. Alrighty, sir, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.